Blog Talk Radio.
Shalom, Lekulam. Peace to everyone. Welcome to the Reset Button Season 3. This season, we welcome the listener to join us while we journey through Isaiah, one of the most controversial books in the Word. We would like to accomplish understanding of the salvation of Israel mentioned. Is it one spoken of in the New Testament? Is it someone we're waiting on? Or is it in the past? Walk through this with us as we attempt to uncover this mystery. The call-in number is 516-595-8238. And press 1 at any time that you have questions or that you would like to leave a comment. Our collective email is histaught1talkradio@gmail.com. Our Facebook page is His Taught Ones and His Taught Ones Talk Radio. We also have the YouTube page at His Taught Ones Talk Radio. Subscribe and we'll be posting our episodes every week. Shalom and have a good show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another season of His Taught Ones. Talmidim, yo, here we go, back at it again. You did, yourself, Shema and some friends. We learned hard through better sheets, the Melechim, now fresh start to what is hot. I never yin, here come the prophets, they're dropping some knowledge, abolishing doctrines, apology nonsense. They bring the word, you can call them the pinpoint, given by the hand of the head, he is the pinpoint. Or could it be it's another? So many differences from the children, it's a misnomer. Honestly, the aroma is hideously unbearable. There is no one accord. How dare we say that we're hearing you?
Shil Yisrael, Holy One of Israel, Anachnu modim lecha al yom nosaf we al milah. We thank you for another day and for your word. Barech bivakasha et ha-mifkash hazeh. Please bless this gathering. Bo'u nishmiah. Let us say Amen. Amen.
Shalom, shalom. This is Shema Talmido. And welcome to another segment of the Reset Button. Today is the Rest Show, and I am joined with panelist member Yosef. Today we are missing Yedaya. Has some family things to take care of, so he will be back next week. Today on the Rest Show, I'm sorry. I titled it Desiring Yah Conscience. I don't know, it was just something that was on my mind as far as topic. It's not necessarily a topic as far as like subject matters dealing with different doctrines, but, had a few different conversations with a couple of my associates at work. And then someone last night, and it kind of just, I wanted to like kind of see if we can find this concept with those that were who wrote this literature down or put this literature in place for us to, take heed to or model our lives after. Can we find this concept desiring Yah's conscience with the very people of the book that we adore or admire or look up to. So I just wanted to open up with that. If Yosef had anything to say in regards to it, the floor is yours. Pass the mic.
Shalom, everyone. This is Yosef Hard Oreg Dean, and I just want to welcome everybody to the show. I feel like this is a good topic, and it warrants some participation from the people, I would say. So I don't want to, take up too much time. I'm just, happy to be here. It's been a long week, at work, and this is what these rest days are for, to be able to relax and be able to discuss the word and how y'all on our mind of this day, because a lot of times throughout our work week, things get a little hectic. But I would encourage everybody to, y'all had an interview for his album release or EP, or it's not really, I don't know how to explain it, because he says it's not a mixtape, and it's not, he didn't really want to label the album, but I'll say EP. And I would say to go check that out. What's that called? Knowledge and Truth Radio. Am I right, Shema?
I think it's something along the lines of to the increase of knowledge and truth radio, I believe.
If you go to the Facebook page, you'll see this posted, and just click on the link or whatever, and you should be able to listen to his songs that he had, but also his responses and his stuff like that. To go check him out. I was trying to listen to it myself, and it got restarted 2 times on me after I done got through an hour and something, so I myself have to finish it. But that's about it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I'll yield the floor back to you.
All right. I kind of kept kind of by mistake in the sense, but I got it for an hour instead of 2 when I created the show, and just realized that when I looked at the time. So, like he had mentioned, it would be nice to have a few different people or people to come on and give their comments, their thoughts on this topic or questions regarding it. I have a few points to bring out, a few examples as to why I believe this is important, and a huge thing needed in regards to our journey, even individually, regardless of difference in belief system, but just the fact of desiring and seeking. I think that is very important. I believe that is missing. I believe we have a knowledge for or of God. We have a knowledge of the Word and things of that nature, but do we have a desire? Is it a real desire? Is it a sincere desire? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Yosef has spoken a while ago, but I don't want to quote him wrong, but I know everybody has different levels, and, some people might believe they're sincere, or they might be actually sincere in, like they to them and from their perception is sincerity, so I can't take that away from them. But I guess when I'm speaking of desire or sincerity or seeking, is it according to Yah? That is what I mean when I put it out there. So I just wanted to make sure I do understand that perception or that way of looking at it, because he brought out a great point with that when we were speaking on a while back. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was him. And another example that I can give related to kind of that situation or that example is when you look at sin. You know, we had realized through the course of our contextual study that sin does not necessarily have to just be the laws of God. We understand that sin is a transgression of the law, right? But when we are using the scriptures, and this is what we model our life off of, then we want to go by the sin of Yah. So, like, say if you have a child and you tell your child, hey, you got to come in at 9 p.m., and they come in at 10:30 or 11 p.m., they have just sinned against you. They have transgressed your command or your law, you know. So I want to make sure we do understand that there is a difference with those two. It also, I want to equate that to it being a difference of desire as well. You know, we might have a certain desire, but is it the desire that, you know, Abba, you know, wants? You know, like when he'll say things like, what's right in my eyes? You have done right in my eyes. You know, some people believe they're doing right, you know, wholeheartedly. And it might not be what's right according to him. But I do encourage to continue to do what you might believe is right if you're sincere about it, but just keep growing. Did you have any thing in regards to, you know, anything concerning the topic or any insight or thoughts on even what I said before, you know, like bring out some of the things or examples that I wanted to produce? And, you know, did you have anything at all?
I'm sorry, I ain't had nothing.
All right, cool. So what I want to do is kind of break down a couple words in regards to the title. I want to break down desire, and then I want to break down conscience. Okay, so I'll start by going with the first word, desire. And desire, this word says wish, desire, long for, wish for, demand, and expect. With that being said, you have these few different definitions, and this is a online etymology dictionary that I'm using. I do understand this more. There's, you know, Webster dictionaries out there, probably a little more, elaborates a little more on it. But I think that this suffices. Like, when you think of this, just longing for, have you ever had, you long for something so much that it actually was fire and burning up in your soul? You know, when I think of desire, when I think of long for, you're demanding it. You know, you're demanding this whatever you have a desire for. You know, you can't live without it. It's a daily type of thing. You know, it's almost to the point like this says expect. One of the definitions for this desire is to expect, right? Next word I want to look up is conscience. Not conscious, but conscience. And just so we'll know that they are different, I'll go ahead and look up the conscious really quick. So we're going to go to conscious. Okay, so the definition for conscious is knowing, aware. So a good example of that is somebody that is unconscious. You know, when they're conscious, they are aware that they're, you know, conscious or awake. They might be aware of who they are as far as name is concerned, you know, things of that nature. But the difference, what we're going to look into is conscience. This is a little different. So the definition of conscience is a faculty of knowing what is right. Knowing what is right. Sense of fairness or justice or moral sense. So when I have this, the title being desiring Yah conscious, so you're longing for Yah's morals. You're longing for what is right in His eyes. You know, it's not solely about you when you're dealing with Yah, right? So you're desiring, you're expecting it. It's to the point where, you know, you're desiring so much, you're expecting Him to reveal this to you. You know, you're expecting it to come solely and only from Him, not even from you. This is my take on it. This is what I see. This is what I'm seeing even throughout these examples that I might bring out. But I don't want to take over the floor, you know, jump in and anytime if you have anything to add yourself. Let me see if there's anybody in the queue or anybody. Okay. All right, so I'll just continue.
I will respond a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
I want to say that, like you said, you know, desire, you know, what is right now for the Most High. A lot of that stuff is, well, I can say, I would have to say at this point, you know what I'm saying, he did Isaiah and the things that he wanted. And I'm not talking about solely in Isaiah. I'm talking about all the way up to Isaiah. So, you know, on things that he wants and desires. And that type of situation. But the one thing that I see with Yah conscience is more so, you know, being able to judge between right and wrong, you know, as far as like a fair judgment, a fair assessment. And I know he speaks about, you know, righteous ruling and righteous judgment and like stuff like that. That has been repeated a lot of times throughout the scriptures. So that was one of the big things. And well, not just that, but it's just one of them. And but like, how do you judge righteously? You know, that would be, you know, somebody, well, you know, I want to judge righteously. Well, how do I do it? A couple instances, you have to hear, one of the things was, you know, you have to listen to both sides of the story. You can't make a judgment on anything with one-sided because, you know, somebody going to say something, somebody going to say something else. Like what they always say is, this story, his story, and then the true story or something like that. Some of the stuff will be a commonality, which means that it's correct. And then some of the stuff is going to differ because of the perception of who is telling the story. So when it comes to right judgment, you'll hear two sides of the story. You have to like basically make your decision. What is righteous in that situation? But now I'm going to stop right there because it's other things that I can talk about, but I just wanted to bring out one, and then I'll bring out more as we go on. But I don't want to hog the mic on all the things that he talked about because that'll be a long time. So somebody.
All right, appreciate that. Bringing out the judgment aspect and right ruling aspect on the matter of Yah conscience. So I wanted to go to 1 Kings 3:9. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from two different versions. First Kings 3:9. All right. So one version I'm reading is from the Stones Bridge edition, or the Stones edition. And it says, "May you grant your servant an understanding heart, to judge your people, to distinguish between good and evil. For who can judge this formidable people of yours?" So this goes into what yourself was speaking of, right? I'm going to read from another one. And it says, "Grant then your servant an understanding mind, to judge your people, to extinguish between good and bad. For who can judge this vast people of yours?" Okay, so this goes into the point of yourself. But one of the things I wanted to add to it is the desire part of it. We understand that it is some people up until this point who desired and kind of went another route of that desire. Solomon was one of them. Or what he desired. But then we have examples of others who did the same and continued therein. But the point that I want to point out of all these was they had to have a desire. You know, they had to, in order for them to receive what it is that, you know, their forefathers had of the Most High, to receive this sense of, like Yosef brought out, like discerning these matters. It had to be a true desire for it. There had to be an initial character, a consistent character that these men and or women in this literature that we're reading displayed and demonstrated. And one of the things that I'm seeing consistent with these people are their question or asking of the Most High, and also the way they asked. You know, like he has said up in this, he didn't ask for to take his enemies. He didn't ask for to get riches. He didn't ask for none of those things, you know, because those are desires that people want as well, right? And there's nothing wrong with it, of course. But I see something different in these men and or women that within this literature we're reading. Their desire was being Yah, like Yosef would say, Yah conscience. And I just wanted to point out his verbiage. You know what I'm saying? And understanding the hearts. That is deep. That is deep to me, because their heart or mind, right? And a lot of people are emotional. They go off of emotion, and it goes back to what Yosef just said, like doing it fairly, right? So if you are emotionally driven, and honestly, I don't believe there's anything wrong with having emotions, of course, but if you're emotionally driven, not being conscious of your of whatever it is, then this is when I'm bringing back to what he said, an understanding heart, you know, an understanding mind, because in the heat of any moment, depending on you as a person, your walk, your journey, you might not operate in that. So that's why I believe that the word desire is a constant action. I think it's a constant thing. And by having that, it allows you to continue therein. And we see like Solomon fell a little bit, but everybody falls, of course, but he fell heavy. And then you have people like Elisha, who I'm going to bring out next, who continue therein. You have a lot of examples, but we can't go through all that like Yosef said. So with that, I'm going to fall back a little bit. And, you know, if Yosef want to say anything, or anybody want to say anything that's listening in, press 1 so we can bring you in the queue for a comment and or a question, you know. I'm going to yield the mic.
Well, personally, I don't have anything else on the judgment matters. It was just good that you had brought some scriptures out right after I said it. So that kind of lined up, you know, as far as that. Like you said, you know, we have to have the desire, but we have to also understand that we're not perfect too. So don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake, or you might feel an emotion that you feel like might not have been the most high at that time. I know we strive for perfection, and we strive to be as the most high want us, and that's what it is. It's striving, but we're human. And I have to give an example. Somebody hit me in my inbox, and he got into with somebody else, and he screenshotted all of what was there. So, long story short, the guy came into his inbox because of a post and was talking bad about him. Was like, you know, you're not Israel, and you're this, you're that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, I don't understand. You know why you feel that way about what I said. You know, because I feel some kind of way. And then he got to the point where he was like, he said, he was like, if you talking all this is the guy that was getting talked to. He said, but you all in my wife inbox, such and such. And then he was like, well, who is your wife? And, you know, back and forth or whatever. But then, at the end of the day, the guy, you know, he ended up getting mad, you know, the one that was getting talked to. And, you know, he didn't curse him out, but he did, you know, get upset enough to, you know, call him names that was negative, I'll say that. And you know, he wanted to know if he was wrong. And all I could say was, well, he did get to you. Well, he said, what did he say? He said he was trying to get to me. I say, yeah, he did get to you. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, that's human. Human, that even the Most High gets upset. So, but he didn't carry on. He didn't, you know, go into that guy, you know, and keep on going and such and such, you know what I'm saying? He actually fell back after he made it and then asked somebody else, an outsider, was he wrong? Now, you know, I did say, you know, he might have wanted to control his temper because he got that man hot. But I can understand, you know, the other guy was talking bad about him, and he kind of held his cool for as long as he could. And after someone's telling you, you know, you're not Israel, you fake, and da-da-da-da, you know, that stuff can get under your skin. So, like I told him, and like I say to anybody, you know, don't beat yourself up because you might have got upset. Don't beat yourself up because you might have made a mistake. That's the you know, the difference in this. Most times, and we know where our faults are at. And all of us have faults in some form or another that we carry from childhood, and then we grew up. And even though we came into the church, or even the might have got from the church, even though we came into those things, we still have some mental things that we go through that affect the way that we react to certain things. We have triggers that set off. So, like, for example, what I mean by trigger is, say, I'm going to be general. Say your father used to beat you to a country song, a specific country song. You know, when you hear that specific country song, you're going to have an emotion attached to that. And whether or not it's anger or whatever the case may be, when that trigger goes off, you know, that's just what it is. Most I understand those things because he the one created the mind. And he understands it's going to have emotions that part, you know what I'm saying, on certain days. The biggest thing is where do you take those emotions and how far do you go? And, you know, did you make that an excuse to go kill somebody? That's a totally different story. Because you had time to think about it, and that's what you saw the solution. Then you start going into another realm, which is the act the violence because of the emotion that you carry. I would never tell anybody, not to defend themselves, but like I'm talking about situations as far as somebody talking crazy, and then you see them on the street and you got to put hands on them. Time has passed. You probably had time to think about it and make another decision and stuff like that. What is something on the deal? And without taking any more time, I'm gonna give the ball back to you.
All right. So yeah, the next one I wanted to go to was my favorite verse. One of my favorite verses, man. Psalms. If a lot of you are not familiar with this one, I encourage you to write it down. Meditate on it or whatnot. Let me see. It's Psalms 25. Psalms 25 and 4. 1 second. I'm getting to it. Here we go. So Psalms 25 and 4, and it reads, make your ways known to me. Yah, teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth, and teach me, for you are the Elohim, or God of my salvation. To you I have hoped all the day. And some versions might say, look towards you all the day. And what that is saying, I believe, is, first of all, the things that I wanted to point out that, this is a perfect example of David, the things he had done. And the thing he had done that was really wrong, and he went away from that. Even though he was still, punished for it or whatnot, he went away from it. I mean, a lot of these psalms that's written was because of that desire that I'm speaking of. Because desire is actually a verb. It's an action. So we see that he's saying, asking the Most High to teach him his ways. Teach me your paths. And that he's basically longing for them all the day. One of the ways that I've learned, as far as for me, because I do agree with what Yosef is saying, we're human. But one of the things, somebody else said that to me last night, actually, and they was like, certain things is human nature. So a little, what I could bring out as far as human nature is, we are a species of repetitive things. A lot of things that we have learned, a lot of things that we do, a lot of things that we are part of is due to us continuing to do it. A repetitive thing. We are a species that learn behavior, so to speak, right? That's one way to look at it. So what I had said to her last night, I believe, or yesterday, whatever it was, actually someone I'm speaking with at the moment. But what I said to her is like, what would happen if we reverse that? If we are a species or people of repetitive nature, what if we reversed it? What if we conditioned or trained ourselves and repeating ourselves in the good? That will help cancel out that, I guess you could say, flawed side of yourself. The best way to get better at something is to continue to practice at it. Think of NBA players, think of the football, think of any sport you could think of any singer, think of any musician, anything you could think of, anything concerning a job or a career. The best way to get better at something is to practice it. And then when you're looking at what he's saying, he say all the day, right? Or every day or all the day. He's desiring. So he's working on it. He's continuing to get better at it. So I agree with my brother that brought that out. But I also want to add that the best way to knock off those flaws that we have is to literally actually work at it the same way that we work at it with sports, working out. You know, one of my friends today, well, not friends, but I knew her for years. She's doing a bodybuilding competition today. Well, a physique competition. And I'm talking about body transformation in these 3 months, literally. But how does she get that? Because daily dedication, practicing, working at it, and she had a desire that is more than the average person that just goes to the gym sometimes once a week or once a month. They don't really have a desire for it. Watch this. Some have a desire, their belief of desire. Man, I wish I could lose this weight. Man, I wish I can have or gain this weight. Man, I wish I can gain this muscle. Man, I wish whatever, right? And there's two ways you can look at it. The reason they're not getting it is because they might not have the information to get it. But I think yourself said one time, we're in a time of the information stage or something. So you can get any information. You know what I'm saying? You just got to discern what is the problem. And then the other way to look at it is they didn't have the desire that this girl had today that's doing this competition. Some could argue me on that case, but I mean the proof is really, I know people that was 250 pounds, 5'4", that did it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. I've worked. I've trained people at it. They had a desire, and they worked at it all day, and they worked at it every day. So I guess my point is really pinpointing on what he brought out right here in this scripture, and you know the differences in seeing people who fall, myself included, the things that I fail on or fall on. If I wanted to be better, I had to or have to both work at it. I didn't just stop using profanity. I didn't just stop going after women. I didn't just stop grabbing people by their neck. I worked at it. You know what I'm saying? Now, everywhere I go, man. Sometimes it gets annoying to hear this, but everywhere I go, people is literally, I lie to you not. If any one of y'all was on this call that's listening, was with me at any of the jobs I go to, I'm always hearing humble, love person, this and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's not because it's me, you know what I'm saying? It is me now, but I sought out for it. I seeked it. I desired it. I worked on it. You know, I still have flaws, right? But I'm working on it to remove it. I desire it, a verb, an action. So that's my take on the verse I just brought out, you know, and the examples I brought out with, you know, with the girl I was telling you about too, doing her competition. Good luck to her, even though, you know, she's doing her Shabbat, it's whatever. But the transformation was amazing, and it was literally because of her desire. And I'm going to yield the floor for anybody that's listening that want to press 1, because we do have a few people, or yourself, you know, that want to speak.
Yeah, I got something to add to that. And I agree. You know, you have to work on what you want. You have to continue to work on it every day. But here's the kicker. There is a but. Everybody's working on it will be different. Not every single person, but we have different methods to achieve your goal. I could use the example about losing weight and gaining weight. I'm going to talk about myself. The hardest thing for me to do is gain weight. All right? Somebody else could be sitting there like, man, I gain weight just by eating a cheeseburger and drinking a soda or something. Now, me, if I don't eat 3 or 4 times a day, I'm losing everything. I mean, it's just my body is different. And I'm only using this as far as like that type of thing. And I have a different type of frame. So I have to overindulge. Now, can I give that same advice to someone else? I can if they fit the same predicaments. If they don't, they have to take a different method. There's different methods of lifting. You know, if you're trying to tone up, you might try to lose weight, but maybe you just want to tone up. You know, your repetitions would be different, you know, as far as how many sets you do and you're lighting the weight. You know, if I want to get bigger and stronger, you know, I would you know, have to have some max weight reps in there, that type of deal, you know. But I'm going to use something even more common that a lot of people have dealt with, anger. All right? So he says, you know, Shema stated, you know, work on it every day. This is the type of stuff, like you say, information. I had to listen to somebody tell me how somebody gave me a CD on anger, you know what I'm saying? And I listened to this guy, you know, and he said something that stuck out to me. So most of the time people don't even know that they've upset you. You have to express those things to the person and then give them a chance to apologize and such and such. And then if they don't apologize, I mean, then you go from there. Most of the time we harbor in this anger and the other person don't even know why we're angry. And we mad at somebody for something that they could have accidentally done or they don't even know that they done. So with that, it's easier to well, I'm sorry, let me not say easier. With that, it's harder to gauge because now if you have a problem voicing your problems, now you have to deal with two parts, voicing your problems and then letting go. That's why I say it's different strokes for different folks. And the method is always going to be the key point. All right? Now, I'm going to stay in anger for a minute because it's an emotion that a lot of people deal with and a lot of people have problems. We all get angry. All right? Now, what you do after the anger and how long that anger festers with you, and that's where it becomes dangerous because you begin to think about, you know, retaliation and those certain things, or if it snaps too hard in your brain and your reasoning to it is like Shema, to grab somebody by the throat, that's when it becomes dangerous. If I get upset for 5 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes, 15, 30, whatever, and I don't do anything about it, I let it go and like really let it go, not like harbor it. And I go about my business, and it's like it never happened. You don't really have an anger problem. You just get angry, all right? The problem comes in when it affects your life, when it affects your social being with other people and being around people. They don't know what to say around you. They don't know what to do. These type of things. And like I say, it's a source of that anger. You didn't come out the womb. You might have, but maybe most people just ain't coming out the womb angry. And being angry for the rest of their life, they have a source. Sometimes those things have to be exposed and talked about. So it's methods, like he said, to everything. But those things, like you might have to see somebody and talk, or you might just have to talk to somebody. It's good to have friends that has wise counsel and be able to converse with them. Those things is necessary and needed. And that's why we have to be, you know, more united as a people, so we can be able to talk to each other. And the people that we talk to, you know, they would have some Bible sense, and everybody give you, you know, some verses or something that help you out. And I don't want to go too deep off into those type of things. My main point is that it's a way to work on anything and everything that you want to accomplish. And like you said, it does take practice, but it's some stuff that's not going to be as easy as don't get angry. To somebody that has anger problems or has had anger problems, that's probably the worst thing you could probably tell somebody. Don't get angry, or it's not a big deal. Why are you so mad? Well, it was one of the worst things for me. So what is the method to not getting angry? Maybe it's a breathing for you. Maybe it's meditation for you. Maybe it's listening to music and riding in the car or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know, I got to go get on the game and shoot people. That relieves my stress. And I figured that out a long time ago, and I've been shooting people ever since. Hey, go figure. For some people, it's jogging, sports, or whatever. You know what I mean? So you got to know yourself
You have to try to explore yourself. You have to also, like I say, desire to change, and then, work on it, like as far as whatever method it is that you need to do. And if you don't know the method, this is where you might be able to Google it. You might be able to find this information within your peers. Maybe somebody knows how to help you out with some things. I'm not going to go, a lot of times when, we went to church and stuff like that, they would tell you certain, like, okay, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But they didn't really address the problem of you going to want to do it. They just told you not to do certain things, but you really didn't see, the method on not doing it. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and the reason why I'm going to do the last thing I'm going to say. So, like, when we grew up, my generation or whatever, my parents and my peers' parents might have told you, hey, don't have sex before marriage or whatever, right? And you're like, okay, cool. That's cool at the first day. Okay, yeah. Then you start getting these desires or these wants, these natural things that go on in the, whatever, however young it do start younger than that. In their body, you're seeing these other people progress, these other girls that boys, girls, that's that same age, and you're not going to be able to stop that, but then what is the method? You know what I'm saying? My parents ain't never tell me nothing, but don't do it. It's like telling me, whatever. I'm just saying, I'm going to use that one. Don't do it. You're like, okay, don't do it. Fine. That becomes fine. It's like, okay, well, how do I control these urges that everybody has, that my parents had, that their parents had, that every parent in the world has some sort of urge because they didn't have children, you know what I'm saying, and everybody else had held themselves to marriage in this culture and where we stay at, you know what I'm saying? And it's not prevalent amongst the peers and stuff like that. So my point is, we have to have solutions to how to work on it, like he's saying, and be open-minded to maybe various solutions, because that one solution might not work for you. But don't give up and say, oh, I tried, that didn't work. There's no hope for me. And with that, I'm not going to, keep talking. I'll yield.
All right. So I want to do, I'm glad he said that last part. That last part is the point of the topic, desiring God conscious. Desiring. Most, going back to what I was saying, most people, as far as like working out, the desire stops. Most people don't continue to work out every day. Most people don't continue to look, like literally study to find out what it is to gain weight and or lose weight. Most people don't. I know that because this is a field I did since 2006. So I know that as far as, so that's why I said it's a difference in you, not you, yourself. I'm saying people, you when I say people. It's a difference. Some people have a different meaning to the word desire. The desire I'm using is in its form, a verb form, so action form. So the desire is, like I said, this girl, Angel Zaper, 3 months, and she went hard. She, got a trainer. One thing, like with yourself, fast metabolism, extremely. And it's another guy I know by the name of what do we call Dwayne? I forgot his name. But he 6'3", 6'4", was 140, could never get past it. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't continue working out either. That's one. And he didn't look into, because when you desire, you start to look into, you start to research, you start to study, you start to get these answers. Like he had said with anger, seeking help. That's desiring. Do you really want change in your anger? Or do you want to just keep being angry and say, well, I'm trying to calm myself down every time you get angry with somebody, or I'm trying to calm myself down? Or are you literally looking into what can help stop your anger. That's desire. You're looking into it. It's a verb. You're going after it. You know, so back to the like working out, you're finding out that you need to supplement with these amount of calories. You're finding out that you need to, you know, actually lift heavy. You're finding out that you need to do 4 to 8 reps versus 12 to 15 reps. That's a desire. That's a working on it. That's that. So that's my more so. The other things that he mentioned is very important, you know. But the subject I'm just speaking on is just desire, because the subject is the why. What's the reason behind this? Very important what he's saying. That's very important that you need to know these things. But I'm literally just talking about desire. I'm literally talking about that initial stage that can help. Because guess what? If you desire it, now you're looking into that question, yes, of this is me speaking. I'm not, you know, psychologist. I'm just telling you what I see. Now you're looking into, okay, so what's the problem? Why am I like this? Okay, let me get some help. You just show some desire of the situation. You're desiring to actually change it. Versus like, man, Shema, why you always getting, hey, man, you know what, I am working on it, man. But I ain't even doing none of the things yourself just mentioned, meditating. I ain't even doing taking wise counsel by somebody. I'm not even, okay, well, you know, I need to separate myself from this that puts me into that mood, because I know what puts me into it. Am I putting myself into something that's triggering it? That's desiring, you know. I'm not going to go into any more of my points because it is 12:52. And I apologize to those of you that's on the show. I only put it up for an hour. I guess I was moving too fast. And I want to allow, if yourself have anything, and I want to allow if anybody else want to say anything in these last few minutes. And with that, I yield. I'm about to check and see if anybody's in the queue. But yourself, you can take over while I do that.
Well,
if you want.
I ain't got much now. I mean, I guess it's a quick show. I didn't know it was going to be so quick. So I will say
I didn't either. I made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Thank y'all for tuning in. And next week we back on our normal schedule program as far as finishing the chapters. I hope this subject was helpful to the people that listened in. And just the thing we didn't take up all of your day. I was able to do other things or whatever. I don't even know if we got like a little OT portion, but I'm just gonna act like we don't. So, y'all shalom, and y'all have a good day.
Wait. You know what? I just thought about it. We might have one. We just might. I did not realize that until you just said that. We probably do have overtime portion. I guess we can see if we do. We can keep talking. You know, we do got somebody in the queue, and if it does not go over, then then shalom, like he said. But we could continue talking if y'all want to. For those that's online, if you're online, I do suggest you call in. The number is 516-595-8238. Again, it's 516-595-8238. Because if you do not call in, you will not be able to hear the rest of the show. That we could continue on this topic. I'm going to bring 443-815 in. 443-815, you're live.
Hey, shalom, brothers. This is Brother Mercy. I was just going to say that it's an interesting conversation you guys having about anger management, and desire. But I think too, what has to be talked about is you don't desire something if you don't see the value in it, and so you only desire those things that you value. So it's really about, do people see the value in what we want them to desire? It's almost like in a royal family. In a royal family, there are reasons why you don't do certain things. It's not just about not doing them. Like you tell your slave not to do certain things, but the slave don't understand why you don't do those things. Where in a royal family, you don't do those things because you could lose the inheritance. You could lose the throne. If you're a prince and you sleep with a maid, then guess what? That child cannot be heir to the throne. So it's more to it than just not to do it. But if you don't have these other variables at play, then you don't understand why things are wrong to do them. You just don't do them, But in a royal family, the parent explains, say, look, son, don't do this because if you sleep with the maid, then the inheritance will be split between the heir and the maid. Like Solomon, for example. He had all them wives and all them children and all them. You don't think he raised taxes for a reason? Who's going to pay for all that child support? People don't think about those things. Somebody has to pay for everything you do. And so, and I think people don't quite understand that. Dudes going around making all these babies, not understanding that the system has to pay for these, just to educate these kids. The system has to pay to raise these kids because these dudes just walking around just doing, living willy-nilly, not understanding the cost of everything. So I just say there's no understanding, It's more so not understanding. It's more so not when you do these things, you bring poverty on yourself, and you're not able to elevate to the next level. So, and then the $1 million question is, what are you angry about? What's making you angry? People are not talking about that. They're not talking about, and what I don't mean the blame game. I mean, what's really at the heart of what's making you angry? There's a lot of reasons why Brother Mercy gets angry, a whole lot of reasons. I'll be all day talking about all the reasons. But like you say, are we solving the things that make us angry? If we're not solving the problem that makes us angry, then we're going to keep getting angry, And of course, the only thing we do is medicate, and we just learn a better way of handling our anger or masking our anger, or we've learned a better way of reacting to the situation, what I should say. I'm still angry about our kids not being properly educated, but instead of cursing them out, I just try to control my anger and just say different things, or rephrase it, I should say, and it comes off, different ways. But I just wanted to say that, we're not solving the problem, but we want to not be angry. So, it's kind of hard to do that, not addressing the issue and then not getting angry, But then a lot of people just learn how to mask their anger. So, or how they react to the anger, But most of the time, people are angry for a reason, There's a reason why they're angry. It ain't just they just going around being angry. A lot of people are angry because their mom or dad might be on drugs. It could be a lot of things, So I think, these issues are multifaceted, and but I think we have to have understanding. That's why Solomon said, "All that get understanding," because if you don't understand, you're gonna be in a whole lot of trouble. So I just wanted to say, with the anger piece and with the why not to do something, people just don't know why. Like I was told when I was trying to do certain things, but I didn't know why. There's a reason why they don't want you sleeping around, because you make babies you can't take care of. There's a reason why. And they tell you that, but then again, they don't tell you that, hey, you can get 18 and not be able to find a high-paying job. That can happen to you too. But then they're buying their kids these expensive shoes that they'll never be able to afford, because they don't have the occupation to support that type of, behavior. You know what I mean? So you're raising your kids with false sense of work ethic, I should say. So it's multifaceted, So, so a lot of times when a prince is in a royal house, he starts off as a slave. In other words, the king doesn't spoil him. He makes him work hard, so he learns work ethic. But that's what I wanted to say as far as, the anger piece and the desire. A lot of people, it's not just losing weight. You can really die for being overweight, So, so being overweight can kill you. So it's about staying alive.
Yeah. I want to add to one of the things you had said, as far as like you said, you're angry with the school system and all that. But I don't know if you said these exact words, but can't like really do nothing about it. So you kind of like not say it or whatever. But I think you are doing something about it. You teaching. You might be bringing forth a different teaching style. Your teaching style that can help better the kids. Maybe you might implement some truth within the curriculum or the syllabus or however it is. So that could be something in regards to doing something about your anger. You desire to change it by going to school, becoming a teacher. You desire to be a difference. In something that you don't believe is doing good for our children. So it's still, I believe, I don't know why I'm so fixated on the desire, especially knowing and learning that it's actually a verb too. So, that was just like my big point with this. And I appreciate everything you said and everything, yourself and them bring it out. So hopefully, it's other people on the call. Hopefully you press 1, you come in and give us your thoughts, because you'll just be hearing me, yourself, and Brother Mercy. If y'all don't come on in and say some things with us. So yourself, you got to have anything.
A little bit. He said, "What is the cause?" That's the biggest thing. You have to get down to the root of the issue. I always say everybody crazy just depending on how crazy. I used to always say that when I was younger. But I'm gonna modify it and not use the word crazy, but I'll say everybody has some form of issues. You know what I mean? Because by the time you get older, you're like got a whole bunch of fingerprints on you from things and that you've dealt with, which cause the reaction to certain things, which causes certain, these things is prevalent within everybody. So we talk about anger, but it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be totally anything that you have that you feel as if it might hold you back or such. You got to deal with the root of the problem first, and then. And after that, it's about dealing with it. You know what I mean? I would always say just, ask y'all to reveal it to you, and he will in due time, whatever, you know what I'm saying? When he does, he does. And it's going to be like, right, because I asked to deal with my anger, and it wasn't immediately that I got the CDs, you know what I'm saying? I actually failed multiple times dealing with my anger before I got the CDs. CDs was something that helped. But, I actually, thought I had got it down and blew up. Didn't don't got it down yet because that was bad. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want to be talked to. I get like that. I get upset. Don't talk to me. I don't even want to talk because I say stuff. You know what I mean? I say stuff like, "Man, don't ever talk to me anymore." I might not mean that at all, but at the time, I ain't got none of that in my head. This is a stressor. This is true. Since it has a stressor involved, what goes on in my brain to deal with the stressor says this is the best way to handle it. And, we go about those measures, which you feel like is the best way, but that might just be because your brain didn't know another way to handle it. Now, this is not the only way to handle it, because we wasn't educated on these things. We wasn't educated on these things growing up. We wasn't educated on a lot of things growing up that play a big factor. You know what I'm saying? In something like I read a blog, and the blog said the biggest problem in amongst the black community is not something. I can't remember what not was. But they said what it is sexual abuse amongst like family members, sexually abused, right? So now
I use that because with sexual abuse, or any type of abuse, it triggers a sensory in your brain to say, okay, I need to survive. How do I survive? Some people do different things. Some people's bodies can go numb. Some people can go other places. Some people create other things. Some people, they cry. Some people withdraw. Some people accept. All these different variables of what they do to deal with whatever they got going on. But the root of the issue was that somebody had violated their and then they have triggers that they might not even know about, even as they get older. So we can relate that to depression. Why do I get depressed all the time? What's going on with my depression? You know what I'm saying? The abuse that you might deal with could have triggered that, and now you have a depressive state, and it's hard for you to deal with anything. Or that could be something that's like maybe you get depressed, and that's what makes you angry. That's angry that you're depressed. So, like you said, the root of it, that could be the issue. It could be something else. But what I'm saying is the fingerprints that we have on us determines our brain and how we react to things. All that being said is it's not a default in your brain. It's just that this is the law of physics. This is the way the Most High designed not just human nature, all nature, to be able to modify itself, to be able to survive in whatever climate that is in. This has been happening amongst plants, animals, and even so humans. Okay, and the way your brain deals with emotional distress and stuff like that changes your whole mind. So we go into this Yah concept. You want to say, I want to have Yah's concept. And I've turned my ways, and you've gotten rid of all of the outside stuff, which is the stuff that everybody can see and the stuff that you see. I had this type of habit, or I had this, I used to do this, you know what I'm saying? I was a gangbanger, I was a drug. Everybody saw that. Everybody. But then, now we have to deal with the inner part. Oh, that's even much harder. It's harder to deal with the inner parts of you because sometimes you don't even know you. You don't even know why you're mad at certain things. You don't even know why you're doing this. This is, these are, and like sometimes we have to do some backtracking on our lives. Start running your life over to yourself. Was it all hunky-dory and everything was fine and glass and mirrors and all that extra stuff and you just got an anger problem? Then at least you know it ain't from the previous going on. But if it's some of that stuff, maybe you waiting on somebody to apologize to you. Or maybe you, low-key, you mad at God because you saying, why could this ever happen to me as a child or such and such? So we do got to go inside of us to figure out the root of the problem and why we do what we do. And after we go inside of us and it's brought out, then you're going to be able to deal with it. Like Mercy said, the root. Anger, everybody saw the anger. How did you deal with it? Now, for Shema, it might have been easier. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not putting words in his mouth at all. I'm just saying, he's got a total reverse flip in his. We was talking about this on the phone last week. He was like, he said, man, he was real bad, and now look at him. He has a total reverse flip, and he has changed his mind and his ways. Whatever it was that he held on to, whether or not it was scripture, family, whatever you got to hold on to, jail time, if that's going to be your motivation, that's fine. But then I told them, I say, I was sweet when I was young. Didn't want her to fly. Now, I am the worst, probably out of the three of us. And my mind is totally different than it was when I was younger, and it's because of how I figure I had the mold to survive in Chicago. Now, Shema can attest to this. Chicago will put a different effect on you than anywhere else, because you have to know where you could go, where you could drive. You probably been shot at, stabbed, jumped, beat up, or something along the lines of anything before you became 16, and that's probably for sure. gangs that might have wanted to kill you or something. So you've had to do things and think different ways to be able to survive. You have to not show weakness to these people so they don't take over and do whatever. You have to be numb to certain things because having some kind of feeling about that type of stuff made you weak amongst your peers. And there's other places just like this. It's not just Chicago. It's only a test of where I grew up. But now, after literally being shot at, hit in the face with a pistol, you know what I'm saying, robbed, gunpoint, stabbed, you know what I'm saying? After all this, I got a different aspect on life. Now, can it go back to the way it was? I think anything's reversible. Anything. The question is, do I want it to? I don't know about that. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, everything comes with its goods and its bads. I mean, everything, like peripheral. Like when you got to cause and effect. Certain things, once something is interfere with, it's a ripple effect. Like the butterfly effect, going back in time, blah, blah, blah. The reason why I say that is because I got hurt when I was that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm going to relate that to, being hurt. So, and this is just me being, you know what I'm saying, real. Yeah, I could try to change. I think I just like to be a man of war because I just like what comes with that. I'll keep that. And that's me personally. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to take up too much time. I know I just spoke for a while, but we got to talking about the root of problems and causes and stuff, and then certain things started popping in my brain and stuff like that. So you got the question.
Good stuff. A lot of what you said. Before I know it's a call of 312-307. I'm bringing you in right after I say what I want to say. And then Mercy, you're after the caller. So just hang in there, y'all. I want to say something about myself. And I've expressed this to them. It's literally, and it's going to hit everything I believe that was said. Well, maybe it won't, but in my mind, I believe it will as far as for Mercy and yourself. And hopefully people that's listening. With me, I really deal with subjects. Like, it's a lot of subjects that was just brought up, which are very valid. But at the end of the day, the root, like they said, is true. You know, I've got guns pulled out in front of me and Eddie. Well, they know who Eddie is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know well, yourself, you know the Hispanic side over there by Grand. You know, so I got that, all that stuff, same thing. I just believe that, and like he said, he chose, he's a man of war now, but here's a realistic side of it. You do have to discern and have that side of you. Remember, the Israelites was like that. The Most High is like that. David was like that. But here's the thing that I want to bring out in response to that. Remember that time when the people was at Dawid head and his people that was with him was like, basically, in a nutshell, let me go ahead and handle him. And he was like, no. I think there is a time and a place, right? But I also want to go back to desire. It's still a desire. Yourself just said right now, he chose to be this, right? The man of war. Not man of war. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically saying what he said. And then you have Mercy, who brought out, well, do they desire to be that? You know what I'm saying? That person has to also desire and want it. You know, he's been through a lot. Yourself been through a lot. This is what he's at, because this life, dealing with people outside of us, you know, having to watch your back. Somebody might come and, you know, kill us in the movie theater and all that. So you have to have that. I get that. I understand that. You know, but I'm just talking about the desire, because the desire of, like the root, example he brought up with the somebody getting the sexual thing done to them, or even anger. You know, the root. Do you desire to fix that root? To find out that root, to get that root better, because still be that tough person. Because guess what? Shema, I'm talking like Brother Mercy now. Brother Shema is really not somebody you want to mess with, literally. And I'm not saying that about as far as like to my own horn. Anyone that knows me knows that. But the thing is, I desire to change a certain aspect of, hey, I knew what was the root. I needed to fix that root. I'm still that, whatever people say, like beast killer, whatever, I don't know. I'm still that. I still got that. Like Dawid. But I still have that, no, let that person be. And that's not to say that's Yosef saying he don't have that. That's not to say Brother Mercy don't have that. I'm just talking about desire, y'all. Because all those subjects are very important. But the desire of wanting to change it, as far as for y'all conscience, is what I'm really pinpointing. A lot of us don't have that desire to want to, for good reasons too, maybe. You know, you getting stabbed, you getting, things like that. I don't want to change and turn back into that person. I'll give you a perfect example. I used to be the type of person that give people the benefit of, I still do to this day, actually. I'm still the type of person like, okay, I'm going to, until you give me a reason to not trust you, you give me one reason. Now I have to decide, hey, do I want to still deal with this person? Or if I'm going to deal with this person, I need to keep my antennas up. So it's just about within your change in that desire, being more conscious and conscientious. So your mind is more at peace because you fix that root, like they brought up. I'm only speaking on the root that they said. You're more at peace. You're not so quick to react anymore. You're not, because that root thing is the problem of reacting so quickly, so emotionally. Emotion is good, but I'm talking about from reacting to that root problem that causes us to react so constantly, to be that way all the time with different people or a certain type of person or whatever the case might be. Do you want that to change? If you don't want that to change, then this topic that I'm bringing out to help not only others but myself is pointless, right? But if you are somebody that like, hey, I do want to fix this issue because my track record of this issue, it shows I'm doing this to everybody. Do I even care, or do I care? If I care, let me get to this root. Not to say I'm just going to be this nice woman or nice guy to everybody. It's to say I want to stop this root. Now, for Mercy's point of view, and then I'm bringing you in, this last thing I'm going to say, 312 and Mercy. When he said that he's angry from the school system, he literally cannot change the school system, y'all. This man is one man. How many schools are there in America or the world? But he still did execute that desire as far as that subject, that one subject in regards to anger to school, y'all. I am a subject person, y'all. So the subject in regards to that, how did he change it? It bothered him. He got a degree. He's a teacher. Now he can be that change that was the root in his anger in regards to that subject. That's all I'm saying, y'all. With that, I yield. 312, I did promise you I was bringing you on. So 312-307, I'm going to bring you on, Brother Mercy. And then, of course, if yourself have anything to comment on me and or them after they speak, that's cool. So 312-307, you're live.
What's up, man? This Brother Janoy. I want to say I salute Brother Mercy for that because a lot. I'm in the city of Chicago, and a lot of public schools is failing our children. It's teachers that don't care, counsel that don't care. I agree. I don't think I think it got to be like a person who really went through the struggle. When you a person who, I don't want to turn this into no race card thing, but our colored people, we all got something to relate to, and that's the struggle. So when you go through the struggle, it's like you got the fight in you regardless. But everybody that go through the struggle don't desire to, live peaceful. You know what I mean? So I think it's just some certain people who got it balanced out. Well, I don't think it's a problem with having, because you're going to get a militant trained man and a war type man just from going through the struggle and having to make it through the struggle regardless. So it's just all about a person who desire to still know they can make it through the struggle but desire to live peaceful, And as far as like how I met yourself, I was like, wait, he ain't like everybody else though, but he's standing for something. And that just made me have respect for him, you know what I mean? So it's just deep, and it go deep, but some people just want to just be about war, and they don't desire peace. That's how I feel like King David was, or I look at Shamar. You like, I mean, if you want to take it there, you can, but like you said, it's a time and a place for it. You know what I mean? So still got to know how to be gentle at times, certain situations. But I agree with everybody was saying. About you can be angry at a person and the person not even know that they made you mad. You know what I mean? I found myself having to let people know why I'm mad. Like, this is what you did or said, and then it keyed me off. Now there you go. You know what I mean? But I was just throwing that out there, man. Shalom Shabbat. These brothers.
Shabbat Shalom. Appreciate that. I'm about to bring Brother Mercy in. You already know. You want to come back in, hit that one. Brother Mercy, you are live. Brother Mercy, you're live. You might be muted.
I wanted to add some context to what I said because, the thing about it is so crazy because, I went to school at University of Georgia, which has one of the largest libraries in the world as far as books. Have one and then maps. But I say that because people in my family, everybody in my family got a gun. Everybody. And I'm the only one that don't have one. But everybody else got a gun. And my brother-in-law, he got a library gun. I mean, a library, literally. I mean, this dude got, and I oftentimes think when I go around my family, did I really come from these people? Because these two people carry. But I'm not saying to put it embarrassed. I love my family. But I just say, we've really been through a struggle, man, because it's like people feel they have to carry, and that's a problem. When we got so many of us that carry and so quick to use the trigger, and that's not just Chicago. It may be more prevalent in Chicago, but, it's a lot of people with guns these days. So I just say that to say that we got some real anger management problems because, it's not just about tearing somebody off and learning how to phrase things because my kids, they bring knives to school. We confiscate thousands of knives. So I just wanted to make it real for you to understand that, we got real problems, because at any time, and then I thank God because I could have been stabbed at any point. I've been teaching over 20 years, and I yell at my kids. I do all kinds of stuff with my kids, but my kids got knives. I had to think about that for a minute.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The Most High revealed some things to me. He said, your kids got knives.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
But they never stabbed me one time, so I'm thankful for that, But I just say to say that I think we got some real anger management problems because we just inch away from war. I mean, seriously, we just, most states got where you got to conceal your weapons, so that's why we don't see them. But some states is open carry, like the state my dad's from. It's open carry. You can walk around with a gun like a cowboy. He loves living in North Carolina because you can do that. So, but I told my dad like a couple weeks ago. I said, Dad, you my role model. I always wanted to be like you. He said, but you're nothing like me. He said, you're nothing like me. And I say all that to say we got a lot of growing to do because we got to learn how to love each other, man. Because we just a couple inches away from somebody getting shot or somebody getting stabbed or somebody getting, it's crazy, but I don't have a gun. Never owned one. Don't have no weapons. But I'm around people that do, though. So I'm around my own people that do. So I say that to say, man, we got a lot of growing up to do as far as, learning how to treat one another because you never know. You could say something to somebody that could tee them off and they might have something in their pocket. You just don't know, And I just say that's why we got to be Torah-minded, and study the scriptures and love one another, man, because, there's some crazy people in this world, man. A lot of these crazy people in our families, So I just say that to say, and I'm not saying they don't have reason to be crazy because, look, we came through slavery. So let's not act like we ain't go through nothing. So we went through a lot of hardship and a lot of mistreatment. So there's a reason why we're carrying. I'm not saying that people carry for no reason. But what I'm saying is we got to grow in this and get more educated because we got to learn better ways of handling situations. We don't have to shoot up our cities to solve the problem, So I say we just got to learn a better way of handling, situations. And I just thank God for you brothers, that you've grown up in Torah, and Torah has helped you to some degree, how to talk to one another, and how to deal with each other, But I just say that, our world has a lot to, we have a lot to, we just got to get educated. I really believe we just got to get educated, Shema and Orek. We just got to get a better education so we can learn how to communicate with each other and learn how to have solutions without war. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. Brother Mercy out.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say just a little something, and then I'll let you have the mic back. Brother Mercy said something. He said, we gotta find better ways to deal with each other and shoot each other up. I agree with that, wholeheartedly. I want to also clear something up. I'm not the type. I would not just, because somebody may be mad, inflict bodily harm on them. Right? I'm not saying that when I say I'm a man of war. You know what I mean? But I am war-minded, and I think about others. Like, I don't know, every time I go to a restaurant, I don't want to have my back to the door. So I try to not even think about it sometimes. But if you look at the condition that we're in right now, I can see why, people are carrying knives to school. Most of the people that's carrying knives don't want to use it. They just want to make sure they don't get stabbed. Especially when it becomes an epidemic. Like, oh man, everybody got knives. That means that the new person comes to the school better get a knife. You're like, everybody got one? Yeah, I'm not going to bring fists to a knife fight at all. So, we felt like we had to be on equal playing grounds. And then, you know, like I said, owning the gun, we getting shot down in the street by our own people and the police. Now, while most people ain't busting nothing toward the police, and out, well, we did. People did. In certain cities, they do. But most people ain't. They shooting at their own people. I guess it's more comfortable. And you know, that's you know, mentally we're in a bad state of mind. You know, to where we want to, you know, kill each other. You know, and have this person not living anymore. I'm not the aggressor in that thing. I'm actually I'm more about self-defense. Anything else, I took self-defense growing up and all that. So I'm not really the aggressor to go out there and shoot anybody, but I will defend myself in all aspects in life. You know what I'm saying? It's all about defending yourself. That, you know, I was always that way, you know, growing up. Like, I ain't gonna mess with you, but don't mess with me. Like Shema said, hey, don't mess with Brother Shema. And like, he finna go out there and do anything to you, but don't try.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
You know, that's what I am all day. And I've been, I'm like a little bit, like I had scars on my face. We're gonna go back to not just the violence aspect, just period. You know what I mean? I had scars on my face. So kids are mean, and we always talk about people, and you know, when you're young, we talk about people when you get older. So we always talk about it. You know what I mean? So I was, like, man, I got scars. I got, bit by a dog, and the kids talked about me. They was roasting me, and my feelings was hurt. Boy, I say I ain't finna be roasted no more. And I developed a knack for talking about them back to where nobody wanted to mess with me. I did kind of go overboard where I used to just talk about people no matter what, but hey, got to take it crooked with the straights, right? So my defense to it was to go back into attack mode. Well, you attacking me, I'm going to make sure I attack you, and I'm going to attack you way worse than you would attack me. I'm going to double and triple you up. And that's, how I, feel about the physical thing. And I guess that would even be, more so of a mental aspect when people are talking about you. And you was already feeling bad about, the situation. Because most of the time we are already insecure as children about whatever defect we have. And then somebody points it out and everybody's laughing, So, and I'm pretty sure Brother Mercy sees it all the time. But that one child, so you got to sit there and they feel some kind of way because they can't change that. And what they do after that could, be, or how they choose to deal with it will change the rest of their life. But we have to, another thing I want to talk about as far as like, having a desire, we have to put that in our children, so the children won't have to change back. They can grow up in that way. Because like we need healing as a people, and we very scarred. But the innocent children, they have a chance, especially if we can recognize some things on a real level and be able to explain them. And like I said, we're in the information age, so we can find out almost anything that you want to find out, and into your child what you didn't have, and then also, like I said, the desire for the Most High. At a young age will bring wisdom, and it'll bring a lot of, knowledge to some things, because he will reveal things to you all the time. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but, you might be able to do certain things or, like, know certain things or grasp things, whatever. And that's because we really inevitably really want to be like Yah. And that's the desire part, wanting to be like the Most High. And I would think that everybody that listens say, yes, I do want to be, like the Most High. And we would never be able to imitate or, of course, ever be on that level, but to walk with him like Elisha, because that's how the whole conversation really, how we really got on it, because the Elisha episode, and he was just speaking like as if y'all remember, just speaking as if he never went and inquired. Like you had other people that was like, and he went off and inquired of the Lord, and he came back with an answer. It was like, that was like what we were seeing, and then it was a change. And Elisha was just saying stuff. The Most High gonna do this. Word? He told you he was gonna do that. He just gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was bold. It was real. I haven't gotten to that state. I mean, I'm far from, you know what I'm saying, even close to that state or anything like that. Yeah, I might have some knowledge of some things, but I ain't got knowledge of all things, and I sure enough, you know what I'm saying, everybody got a downfall. Someone, so from another, you know what I mean? So what I say is, I'm not perfect just because I know stuff. But that doesn't mean that one day I don't want to feel to myself that I've tried my hardest to be that way. And that's the want. If you want, you will try. And ever since I came back, I've been trying to be like the Most High, but I failed miserably. But it's a growing thing. Every year you should grow. You should get better. I am not where I was 4 years ago, and I know Shemai isn't where he was when I first met him, because I've seen him grow. As far as to the aspect of when I met him, even to as far as Janoy, I've actually seen Janoy grow. Just his post will change. He has a different way he talks now. But some people I can see, and they look the same as they did 4 years ago. I mean, something has to be wrong with that picture. I mean, you desiring Yah and you're not growing. You still talk about the same thing. You still don't have, it's all repetition. So it becomes more of a ritualistic thing. It becomes more ritualistic. It becomes the religious part and not the actual seeking the Most High. I'm going to say this, and I'm sorry I took a lot of time up, but I'm going to say that I had just like a break for it. But, okay. Wait, when we look at this book, you know what I'm saying? Like this is how I feel. I'm speaking for myself. At this time, I want to make that known. If Shema agrees or disagrees, he can, speak for himself, even if he doesn't want to speak on it. When we look at this book, I feel like a lot of people, the problem that we have is that we've made this book a religion instead of, you know what I'm saying, seeing what this book was got for us to offer as far as how to connect with the deity that is attached to the book, which is the Most High. And we see the examples of prophets and certain people, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the forefathers and all that, having some, form of relationship with the Most High. And it wasn't about, you know what I'm saying, everything that the religions have put on it. So we look so much at the book, and we looking down at the book. The Most High is up. We ain't looking up to the Most High and say, all right, where's, what I need to do. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of good information in the book, and it tells, it speaks to, it's timeless. The book is timeless. It speaks to us in different ages, in different times. That is great. It lets you know a bunch of stuff to fashion towards your life. And it'll give you a scripture, but it's certain things that you need to be a little bit more detailed, and it's not in there. Where do you get that information from? Up. The Most High. So having the mind of him, or being able to, think like him, you know what I'm saying, it's going to take some time, because he has to prune you as an adult and clip off things and take you through lessons and such, so you can start learning things and this, that, and the other. But see, that's a personal walk. And that's things you going through. And that's your solutions to your problems, in which it might help somebody that's just similar like you, but it's not applied to everybody, because they not walking in your shoes. See, you gotta, if to walk like they did back in the day, we gotta understand that they didn't have this book. So that made them more concentrating on Yah than we are concentrating on Yah. So you wonder why we ain't got the same results, is because we're not concentrating as much as they did. Shema used to talk about meditating on the Most High back in the day. Like, when he used to talk like this when we first got into, we was dealing in Genesis. And he, looked up the words and meditate, and all that. And he broke it down, did a very good job. They meditated on the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time we say, well, I'm going to meditate on this word, and then we study, we cramming the brain, we trying to do as much as we can, we trying to learn as much as we can. That's great. I want to look toward the creator, not the pages that just talks about him, because it's way more. You couldn't contain the Most High in the book. It's impossible. That's why you can't have every attribute and everything up in there. You're going to get a lot. But you trying to tell me he the Most High and he ain't no image, but I can imagine everything he can do in the book? No. And the last thing I'm going to say is, and I heard somebody say this. They say the Most High shows somebody an image of a square. All right? And then the Most High shows somebody else the image of a circle. The person with the image of the square argues with the person with the image of the circle of what the Most High really was showing, because he was going, obviously he's only going to basically show one thing. Then somebody else got shown a triangle, and then he comes over there, and all three of them argue about who the Most High is or what he's showing to people on a personal level. We do that all the time. I think if we all had pieces of Yah conscience, we might just have different pieces. Because I don't think we can contain everything he got going on. Everything, I don't think our brain would blow up, I believe. So, Shema might be extra knowledgeable in an area, and then I'm extra knowledgeable in another area, and I have pieces of this, but this is where we need each other. Because when you put that conscience together, all of them formed up become one, and that oneness is one with Yah. And guess what? Now, as a group of people you Yah like, bam, that sounded like the whole want of Israel right there. That's all he wanted. And then those people would be examples to everybody else on how they should treat people and such and so forth. The difference between the Yah conscious deal, let's say, I'm gonna say, like, it's different. It was always different from everybody else. The culture of Israel was different from everybody else, more than just the God thing. It was the God thing, and then how they treated people and divvied out property and such and such, so forth. It was fair. And everybody was like, what? And it was the only people that kept their, a mass group of people kept their belief inside of exile. They held on to it, even while being punished. So, now I know I spoke a long time. I yield. Shema, you might be on mute.
Yes, I was. Anyway, I was on mute, talking like a mug. I said I just want to add on some of the things that he was saying. I took some notes, actually. Good stuff that was said. On the last part of what he said, I think I want to paint a picture. And the picture I want to paint is McDonald's and Burger King. You have multiple McDonald's. A lot of McDonald's all over the United States, all over the world, but I'll just say United States corporation, United States corporation. I just want to make sure I said that. But you have so many McDonald's, all of them function. They have a certain way of functioning, a certain structure, a certain idea, a certain mind frame. But out of all these millions or however many McDonald's there are millions of people that work within it that have different mindsets, that have different thought processes. But they all function under the way McDonald's is supposed to be ran. I'm just going to sit that there. I'm not going to expound on it. I just want that to be, and whatever it is that you get from what I just said, let that be. But I wanted to say something. He expounded on the want, and I love the fact that he said at the latter part of his message, he said, I want and try. That try part is the key in that of what he said. He said both of them, correct in both. I just want to make sure y'all know this. Me saying this is not going against what he said. But that try is key. Why do I say that? Everybody on this line at one time in their life, I guarantee, and if I'm wrong, forgive me, has said, man, I want to be a millionaire. Or I want to be, something along those lines. The question is, have you literally put in that work to become that? Some might argue with me and have a difference of opinion, but it is a fact in that. Anybody that's a millionaire or getting close to it, if they could, and I'm talking about every millionaire has this in common. Everyone that worked to become a millionaire has this in common, that they went in to become it. I know I got one friend that is a millionaire, and I got another one that's on the verge of being it. And when I say their work ethic differs, and hold on, I don't want to get on work ethic because everybody works hard in their job. But I'm talking about when we say we want to be a millionaire, have you ever tried to be that is what I'm saying. So I think want and try is important. It was a conversation, and to kind of switch it up a little bit, I know we got 12 minutes left. At my job, man, another reason that I brought this up, and I want everybody that's listening to understand why I brought this up. I use something that, yourself, all of us, we, like he said, the whole y'all kind of just came from the Elisha conversation, X, Y, Z. But as I thought about this when I was at work, I'm in orientation at a new job right now, and most of the people in our orientation are black, quote unquote, so-called black. A couple of them are 35, most of them are under 30. And then we have one white lady. And, dude, when you talk about you looking at how we are, we have a lot of anger. We have a lot of anger, man. Even just the way we talk. Like, literally, I actually got people for a whole day not to say the word nigga. They chose to do that because of how they said I was being or something. I don't know. But I broke some stuff down to them, and it's like, and I brought in the want, a true desire of it. Another thing I wanted to bring out was somebody asked me, was I a Christian? And I was explaining, this kind of goes into what yourself was saying a little bit, maybe not, but I think it could connect a little bit. He asked me, am I a Christian? I said, well, I'm not a Christian. He asked me, okay, Jew? I'm like, no. Muslim? No. I told him I believe in the literature that was presented to us and what you would call the Bible today, because I attest to being these people. Okay, so what are you then? I said, look, can you imagine yourself asking Abraham what he was? Can you imagine yourself asking Elisha, Elijah, Isaiah, can you imagine asking them what they were as far as religion is concerned? The reason I brought that up is because, he wanted to continue going into. I just got quiet at that point because we're really emotionally driven on different subjects. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, we're really not diving into these things. We speak on stuff, but we're not applying them. That was my point in it. I don't even know if that point was understood. But we was having these conversations, and I'm just looking. I'm looking at what's going on, not to be somebody that's judging, but somebody that's trying to help. Like I said, they did a whole day without saying the word nigga just because of not me trying to preach or teach, but I guess displaying. And what I wanted to say is what makes us righteous. I came across this through study because some people will say that we're not righteous, and we do know people was righteous. What I want to encourage those that's listening is one of the steps we got to do is change our way we speak. We got to have belief in the desire that we have and then apply it to our life. So if we believe that we are headed towards righteousness, then the key to do it is to seek it. Why? That seeking is desiring. Then we have to change the way we talk as far as from the standpoint of like I would encourage my brother yourself. I would encourage him if he, I'm not saying I'm encouraging him literally right now, but because he said, I want and try. And I was like, that try is key. But, if we were to say something like, I'm not perfect. Okay, I know you're not, you're not perfect. I got flaws, yes. But we can't keep, I'm not talking to him when I say this, but a lot of people use these things and say these things not to better themselves. And I believe he probably could believe me or agree with me on that. A lot of people, like Christians, use Christians for example, they will say these things to continue in what they're doing, literally. So my point in saying desire your conscience is to literally change our way of not only thinking, our speech, and also, and look, I'm not pushing this on anybody, but I'm just giving, just saying what I see can help our community because we got a lot of anger. The only way we can dive into some of these things that we're talking about is to, like yourself and Janoy said, Azariah, and even Mercy, we got to speak on it. We hold a lot of stuff in. So now since we holding these things in, that's the root, then we bring it on others that might not have even deserved that whatever it was. That's something I've done. I've done that. I've done that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want this show to be something like, you know what, man, this was a good show. I felt what them brothers, Mercy, yourself, Shamaj Noy was saying. Man, yeah, I really got to do it. And then we forget about it and we don't want to go. That's not the desiring I'm talking about. That's that I want to be a millionaire, but don't even do nothing towards being an actual millionaire. A millionaire, they say it takes you average between 5 and 7 businesses to be a millionaire. Do you have 5 to 7 businesses? Are you even working towards having that? So no, you're not going to be a millionaire. And no, you did not try to be a millionaire because you didn't do the things required to do that. Do I want to get close to the Most High? Okay, let me ask you a question. I said this in the beginning. He said I used to say stuff in the beginning. I'm going to say what I said in the beginning too. Are we talking to him daily? Or not even talking to him daily. Are we giving him the same type of time that we give everybody we deal with? Or the things we do, playing video games, playing basketball, working out. Are we doing it? These are just suggestions. Just because it worked for you, Shamad, don't mean it's going to work for everybody. I agree with that. But watch this. I also believe that it can work for everybody if it worked for me. I can. It can be another method to it, but that principle or concept, I believe, can work if that concept is used. Use your own method, but that concept can be used. And then one thing he said too, he said something about looking up. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yes, sir. We look on these pages. The pages is the initial point, y'all. this page, and give me one more minute because I'm going to let you close out if you want yourself. The pages was our initial point, a starting point. School is a starting point for your life, right? You learn to read X, Y, and Z. Now you got your life. So that I'm bringing that in the concept of what yourself said. You got this pages, you're looking down, you learn X, Y, and Z. But then now it's at a point I need to get more spiritual. I need to look up, but not only look up, look around. Look at all the nature he created. The nature helps calmness as well. Look at the people that's around you. Learn from the people because God is in everyone. I don't care what nobody say. Why do I say that? Because me and yourself brought this out, or yourself. I don't know who said it first. I don't care. The Ruach, the spirit. So if breath is in us, then God is in us. But are we going to let that manifest out is the question. Y'all conscience. I'm done.
I just want to say that it was a good show. A lot of stuff brought out. Shamar brought a lot of stuff out. Appreciate anybody that listened and anybody that participated, And so, like I said, next week we're going to go back into our regular schedule. But I think this is an initial to, saying a start of something that we can spend maybe a rest show, talking about, more of the personal things that need to be done within us also. We were supposed to start some stuff like that before, but maybe it might just be a little bit more feasible to just work them into, feast days every now and then. I mean, rest shows every now and then, That's that. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom. Clear your minds. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another Shabbat, another day to come together and just, hash out ideas and thoughts that we will hope connects to the lifestyle you want us to live. We ask that you continue to help us grow in our journey and help us weed out those initial things that kickstart anything that is not of you, that can help us to become a better person, or just a more spiritual or spirit-like or holy-like, set-apart-like creation that you have created. And we ask that you forgive us for things that might not be where you want us to be a part of, and we ask that you just lead us down the right path. We ask these things in your beloved name. We pray. Amen. Shalom, everyone. We'll see you next week. Did they hit today?